Well, looky here, y'all. Looky here, straight from the desk of the Carlos King. We got a brand new show to look forward to, okay? So let's get into it. The new show, as he posted, he says, happy to reunite with K. Michelle on this new show on Lifetime called My Killer Body with K. Michelle, about life-altering plastic surgery transformations, along with my producing partner, Jesse Collins Entertainment, Dion Coleman Harmon. And I don't know who that last person is, but the show debuts January 2022. Hashtag My Killer Body. So, listen, yo, let's just say it like this. Carlos King is everywhere. I've been looking forward to this show for quite some time. I've been a fan of K. Michelle since her mixtape days, since her Love and Hip Hop days and throwing candles at Rashida back in the day. That's when Love and Hip Hop was its best. You know what I'm saying? Back when K. Michelle and Jocelyn and, Stevie and Mimi and all them was getting down and dirty and all that kind of stuff like that. That's when it was at its peak. But now we got Carlos King in the mix on this brand new show. So y'all know we're going to have to watch it, okay? Now, while we're doing all this, make sure you guys hit the like button on this video while we get into this intro. Skye, what it do on this good Saturday? And so instead of a sneak peek Saturday, I felt like what we would do is catch up on Love and Marriage Huntsville because I had not had a chance to talk to you guys about any of it. So we got to do that today. So it's your boy DJRichieSkye. In case you didn't know, you're new to the channel, welcome. Okay, we're going to get into our recap of the show. T-Ness, thank you so much for the super chat. Starting things off, happy Saturday, Richie. We appreciate and love you. Right back, T-Ness, thank you so much. Listen, when y'all get in this chatterization, I'm going to need you to drop your location so I know where you watching from and so I can shout you out. You know what I'm saying? And plus I'm nosy. I like to know where my people are watching from. Before we get into that, now I got to raise up the alarm. Raise up the alarm. We got to talk about this real quick. So as you guys know, yesterday there was this whole story about Kelly Price, being missing after, dealing with the panorama, right? So then the lawyers came out and said that she was, all well and good and there's no need to be concerned. But Kelly Price's sister says she pleads for her to let them know that she is okay. She says, please, Kelly, if you okay, please just show up, go to the cops because we need to see you. Now, listen, I'm going to go ahead and shout out my boy, Larry Reed. Larry Reed always got the juice. Larry Reed did an interview with the sister yesterday. They posted it on the Neighborhood Talk as well and on a couple of other different sites. Check out that interview and you guys can get more of that tea. I always like to promote my people, and Larry Reed is my boy. So make sure you guys check that out. And we're going to send prayers up to the Kelly Price family just to hope and pray that she is all right, because this is kind of crazy. And a lot of people, in the Black community, we don't feel good about something until we lay eyes on a person. So we're going to need to lay eyes on Kelly Price to make sure, she's all right and well and good. I just wanted to acknowledge my sister before we got into this into this thing. Yes, panorama, because we cannot use the term that, the actual medical term here on the channel because they don't like it over here. Palm Beach is in the house. Okay, we got Louisville in the house. DMV, I see you. Las Vegas, Louisiana. Come on, New York. Atlantic City, New Jersey. Dallas, Texas is in the building. Maryland in the Hisnai. I see you. I see you. Miami's in the building. Houston, Texas. Phoenix. Come on now. Columbus, Georgia. Yes, we're going to pray for her. We're going to speak life into that situation and send out some good energy towards her. Philly, Boston, Stanford, Connecticut. Hey, Arlington, Texas in the house. San Diego. I see you. Rochester, Townsend, Georgia. Bay Area, San Francisco. Come on now. Tulsa's in the building. The Chi is in the building. Birmingham, Alabama's in the building. Palmdale. Fun fact. I have family in Palmdale. I might be out there this coming weekend. DC, boo. Jersey City, Nairobi, Kenya. I see you. Let's go ahead and get into the thing. We're talking about last week's episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville, episode 9, Trouble in Paradise. The people are still in the Las Vegas. Before we get into it, y'all know how we like to do. We like to rate the episode. So let's go ahead and get into the raterization of the situation, okay? Now, for me, I'm going to rate this episode an 8.5. I'm going to give it an 8.5. You guys let me know what you would rate it down in the chatterization. I'm going to give it an 8.5 because, I mean, honestly, I felt like what we saw from Melody and Martell was just a tad bit repetitive. We got a super chat. Thank you so much, Linda. I appreciate you for that. We got a couple of more people who are rating the episode down below. Okay. I see we're kind of all on the same page around that 8.5, 9 range. I see you guys. I see you. Yeah, it was an 8 for me. And best trust and believe, when I say an 8 for Love and Marriage Huntsville, that to me is still higher than where I would rate most of the shows that are out. You can watch this TV on, I think they have an app, right? I think it's on the OWN app. I watched it on YouTube TV because I had to subscribe to that for what I do so I could see all the shows that I want to see. But I also have Hulu Live. I don't know if it's on Hulu Live, but I watch it on YouTube TV. So you just have to set your channel to actually record that every Saturday night. And if you guys have other suggestions about how you watch it, leave it in the chatterization down below. We got another super chat from Destiny in the building. Congrats on reaching 151,000 subscribers. Destiny, thank you so very much. And I am so appreciative of each and every one of those subscribers. I really, really am. I mean, it is hard work, but you know what? I love it. I love it. And I can think of nothing else that I would rather do than talk to you guys about the shows that we love. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. Yeah, I mean, to me, I feel like this episode was it was good. There was some interesting plot points to me that I think we're going to talk about. But I also feel like the argument between Melody and Martell really just kind of left a nasty taste in my mouth. And it just felt repetitive to me. Because I've had to watch this scene with them several times to really get the gist of what they were arguing about. And to me, they both just came across looking like real immature to a certain degree. So that's why I was like, I'm not feeling this argument right here, because it just, again, it's not giving me what I feel like I need in terms of a real argument. And we'll get into it, trust and believe. But I'm gonna tell you why I was disgusted by it in a little bit, because let's get down into the episode, okay? I see y'all feel like it didn't make sense either, okay? I just was kind of like, what we doing here? I mean, if you watch it the first time, you kind of just caught up in the craziness of it all. But when you watch it 2 or 3 more times and you really listen to what they're saying to each other, it's kind of like y'all both being immature. And I'm not on either one of y'all side. And typically I'm on Mel's side because I just kind of feel like she tends to make more sense. But this time I'm on nobody's side. Okay. Yes, it got on my nerves. But let's get into the episode. Now, we start the episode with, everybody in the pool and this was from last week's episode. Everybody's in the pool and they still arguing about the whole Jalen situation. You got Marceau and Letitia versus Kimmy, and they're talking about whether or not Jalen was being disrespectful in a text conversation that was being had with Letitia, which we were not privy to. We don't have any access to these text messages to really understand exactly what was being said. All we know is that from Marceau and Letitia's perspective, Jalen calling Letitia ma'am was being disrespectful, and Kimmy is trying to explain that he was not being disrespectful. Whatever the case may be, Maurice finally has to step in and announce that Kimmy does tell Jalen when he's wrong. And then we finally get some sort of a resolution with that situation. But the bigger thing that came out of that situation was Letitia finally had a little change of heart. It was real quick all of a sudden where it's almost like she just sobered up real quick and realized that she don't need to be arguing with Kimmy like that. So she apologizes, right? She apologizes and they hug it out and all is right in the world again. Okay. It's debatable about whether or not Jalen was actually being, disrespectful, because you can never really tell via text message a person's tone. And so when you're having real serious conversations, it's best to pick up the phone, or it's best to set up a meeting in person to discuss whatever the issues are, especially since these are work-related issues. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You cannot have a dispute with somebody over text message. You cannot have a tense conversation with nobody over text message. It never works out. It never works out. You're always going to misread what the other person is saying. And the other person could be saying something totally innocuous, but you could take that one little thing and you could be like, nope, they said this. He called me ma'am. No. Disrespect. And he might not have been disrespectful. It just depends. You're talking also two different generations speaking to each other. So Letitia may be thinking, because she's from one generation, oh, he's being disrespectful. Jalen could be in his own, definitely a lot younger, thinking, I need to address her as ma'am. I don't really know. But regardless, that ain't the way to communicate with your employees when you need to communicate something important. Okay. So the night ends, everybody's taking shots. Okay. The next day, Kimmy and Letitia are making breakfast. So Kimmy asked everyone if Mel is coming to the Ponderosa. Okay. Martell acts like he don't know whether or not she's coming, but I'm sure he got to know that she is coming, because what we do know is Mel don't have the kids. So, and Mel don't have the kids, that's probably an indication that she's going to be on the trip, because Martell, we will find out later, his mama got the kids. And trust and believe, that was something I paid attention to when I rewatched this later. Okay. And that's going to be important in just 1 second. I'm going to tell you why. So, Tiffany, for some reason, refers to Melody as the baby mama. Now, when she says baby mama, referring to whether or not Mel is coming, everybody in the room looking like, because at the end of the day, I don't know that we would refer to Mel as a baby mama. So Martell kind of does a little play on words with that. He kind of tiptoes around that topic, and he basically says he does not address Mel as the baby mama. Now, let me ask you guys a question in the chatterization, because I want to know your opinion. Would it be disrespectful to refer to Melody as a baby mama? Is that disrespectful? Just give me a yes or a no. And if you want to tell me why, let me know in the chatterization. But in my mind, the term baby mama sometimes has a negative connotation. Okay. And to me, I feel like it really diminishes Mel's actual place in his life as his ex-wife. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it would be a different story if they were never married and they didn't have 4 other kids together. But at the end of the day, you, Tiffany, being Melody's friend, should definitely not be calling her or referring to her as the baby mama. To me, that was really shady. And Tiffany does what Tiffany typically does, is in her confessional, she tries to play on a ditzy side and says, well, they do have 4 kids together, so technically she is the baby mama. But that's really, again, diminishing her role in his life as partner, as former partner, co-parent, and wife. And the technical term baby mama, yes. But the implication of that term is what we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? And so Tiffany, to me, for as much as Melody defends her specifically to Destiny, I feel like Melody, you need to take a look at your friend and the things that she says and does when you're not around. Okay. Because that to me didn't make no kind of sense. Okay. So that was bothersome to me. The next thing we get is Martell and Melody. You know, they are not Martell and Melody. Martell and Kimmy are left in the kitchen cleaning up, and they having conversations about, you know, love and, you know, whether or not Melody and Martell will actually get back together, which kind of frustrates Martell just a little bit. We get a conversation with Lewis and Tiffany. They get a call from their kids, and I guess Tiffany has an issue because Lewis had been taking her son out to get a haircut. I guess his first major haircut, and she wasn't around. I really didn't get into this conversation all that much because I didn't understand it the first time I watched it. I guess she feels like she needs to be there for all those major moments, but Lewis is like, girl, you're not going to be able to be there for everything. Especially if we both working, somebody's going to miss something. And that's just the reality of being a parent. I am sure most parents would love to be there for all of the you know, the first moments in the relation, you know, in their parenting journey. But the reality may be that because of work obligations, you're going to miss something. So, I mean, I don't know. To me, that seemed like an obvious thing, but it wasn't so obvious to her. We get a super chat from A Ward who says, Tiffany is like a fly. You want to swat her away. So annoying. She played damsel in distress when Maurice put her in check, losing respect for her from one HR pro to another. Boom. Thank you for that super chat, A Ward. I mean, yeah, it's like, I'm so over Tiffany playing this role of like, you know, I'm going to make a little microaggression here, there, and everywhere. And then I'm going to act like I don't know what happened, you know, when confronted about it. And it's like at a certain point, girl, just own your mess. Own the fact that you're being messy. I would appreciate that versus this whole like, oh, no, not me. I didn't do that. I didn't just out the fact that your kid was vaping in the bathroom to the world, for the world to see and judge. I didn't do that on purpose. Oh no, girl, get. We're not falling for it. Okay, we're not falling for it. Let's see here. They get ready to go out to go explore, you know, Las Vegas. And what they're really going to do is they're going to go and they're going to basically take those slingshots out. But in order to get to the slingshot place, they actually have to, you know, take a little Sprinter van. But anyway, Melody arrives. And I don't know if it was just me, but I feel like even though Martell was trying to act maybe a certain type of way, I felt like I saw a little smile on his face when Melody showed up. Was it just me, or did he have a little smirk on his face? Because at the end of the day, I really honestly feel like he likes the drama with Melody because he still is attracted to her. And that is one way of keeping her riled up and energetic toward him, because he knows that he can push her buttons at the drop of a hat, which he's going to do a little bit later. Destiny hasn't gotten there yet. I thought that Melody and Destiny were getting there together, but apparently not. So before they go, you know, Melody and Letitia have a moment together, and you know, Melody says that she wishes that Letitia had told her that Martell was going to be on the trip. Now, what I'm wondering is if maybe Melody thought that since Martell had the kids that weekend or that week, that he wasn't going to be there. So later on, when she references this, he mentions that the kids are with his mother. I think that she was making a reference to the fact that she is not the only person that has to leave the kids with someone else when she has a work obligation, as we will see in just a little while, right? But I also think that somehow she probably should have known that he was going to be there because it's their show. Why would he not be on the cast trip, right? Anyway, let's see here. The guys get on one van, one Sprinter van, and the girls get on another Sprinter van. Now, Melody is talking about her music video, and then Marceau is talking about, whether or not it was okay to be on the trip with his ex-wife. And the guys are talking about divorce, all right? And both Melody and Martell are pretty much on the same page of they can't be friends. It kind of is, I don't know. The conversation seems like a downer for the guys because really it feels like Marceau has a lot to say about whether or not this is a good idea or not. But at the end of the day, honestly, my thought is it's probably not the best idea. I think in an ideal situation, I would never be around somebody that I had just broken up with, if as much as I could help it. If I knew that my friends were all going on a trip, if this were everyday life, I would definitely not be going if I knew that my ex was going too. I just wouldn't. I'm not putting myself in that situation. I'm not putting myself in a position to have to be around somebody that, I'm no longer with. But that's just me. Anyway, everybody's ready to get to the location. Let's see here. To get to the slingshots, Destiny meets them there, and Melody's driving comes up as to whether or not she's actually a good driver, because she's gonna drive and Destiny's gonna ride with her. So Martell takes this moment to joke about Melody being a bad driver, and Melody is already on defense mode. I feel like Melody came into this whole situation ready for war. She was ready for any and everything that, Martell was going to throw at her. And sure enough, he decided to throw out little jabs at her about her driving and whatnot. And interestingly, Destiny sort of agrees that she's not the best driver. But anyway, Martell has to try to squeeze himself into that itty bitty teeny tiny car, just like he be squeezing himself into them itsy bitsy teeny tiny clothes. Okay. And he jokes about, everybody joking about his attire. But let me say this, though. I'm going to say this in slight defense of Martell, and just a slight bit of defense. Let me tell you something. As I work out, right? I work out, I take my protein, I do my yoga. Y'all, I'm trying to stay on the good foot. Okay. We trying to stay on the good foot. And to me, maybe if I got to the size that Martell is at, then I might be trying to squeeze myself into some itty bitty teeny tiny clothes too. You know what I'm saying? Let me make these muscles pop for y'all. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's it. Maybe he's just happy with his body and he just gonna squeeze himself into any and everything. But he said he just ain't been shopping, so he just wearing the clothes that he was wearing before, and they're too small, which in and of itself is a whole nother thing. Because what else are you doing? You can't build no homes right now because you ain't got your builder's license. You need to be out here buying some clothes or something like that. I mean, that's just my thought. Anyway, I digress. He ride off in his scooter, and there we go. Now, they all riding through the streets of Las Vegas, but they make a stop at this, at somewhere on this little summit where you can see the entirety of the city, okay? And it's nighttime. Now, the group is, wanting to take their photos, their selfies and whatnot, of them in the skyline. But Letitia takes this moment to pull Maurice aside, and she tells him, because I guess maybe the guys are going to go out at some point. And she does not want Marceau to be negatively influenced by Martell. That's basically what she was telling him. And she was basically saying, listen, I know when Marceau and Martell get together and they got this whole what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas mentality, but I'm going to need you to be the lookout for me and make sure that Marceau stays out of trouble. Now, if I got to try to tell somebody, okay, my brother-in-law, to watch out for my spouse, to make sure they don't get in no kind of trouble while they out and I'm not there, what kind of relationship am I in? Please tell me that. Please tell me why I got to have a spy and a chaperone for my spouse when they go out and about. Honestly, I just feel like this. There is so much speculation about Marceau in the streets. I'm not saying any of it is true. I'm just saying that they keep bringing it up on the show. Also, the fact that Marceau does not do anything to make sure that this woman feels reassured, it seems like from what we can gather. So of course she is going to feel insecure the next time her man goes out by himself with his boys. She going to feel like I need to have somebody there. But at the end of the day, is that the best type of marriage to be in? Because in my mind, you should be like, go have a good time. Y'all go to the strip club here, take some money, put the money all down the pantyhose and all kinds of stuff like that. Pop a feel if you need to. Because at the end of the day, what you got to have in the relationship is trust that your partner can go out and have a good time, but also have some sense. Okay. Bottom line. So Maurice also takes the time to tell her, okay, that, maybe bringing Marceau to a surprise counseling appointment wasn't a good idea. I mean, at the end of the day, how else was she going to get him there? He won't go on his own. So she might as well surprise him. She got to pull out all the stops that she can, okay, to try to get this man to recognize, some things that he needs to improve upon in his marriage, okay? Stacy says, listen, she definitely gives me, I've been cheated on before, but I want everyone to think I am secure in my marriage. Stacy. Stacy Lily on the point, right? On the point, y'all. She on the point. Okay. Now, we finally get to the meat and potatoes of the episode, y'all. Melody pulls Martell to the side and basically, she asked about the kids. Where the kids at? What they doing? He like, they with my mama. Oh, don't she got to work? He's like, yeah, but she volunteered to take care of the kids. Oh, okay. I believe that this was not an innocent conversation that she was having with him. I believe she wanted to make a point that she's not the only person that has to leave the kids with somebody when she has work obligations. That's how we do. Y'all know, especially in minority communities, it takes a village to raise a child. And so many of us will depend on our relatives and whatnot to care for our kids when we have something to do. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I believe that because of what happened next, when Melody broaches the subject about the things that Martell has said about, what's her name? About, was it Brittany? Whoever that girl was that he was talking about, it was about Brittany. I believe that she wants to use that as a parallel to what she had to do when she had to leave the kids with Brittany, and Martell had allegedly went on that Instagram rant about, or whatever he did about, talking about how she wasn't, basically mentally equipped to take care of the kids. Okay. So at this point, it kind of leads into an argument with Martell telling Melody to shut the F up. Now, here's the thing. Martell in this conversation calls her video a BS video. And he also says something about her or her music career being rinky dink. Now, I do feel like he was wrong in that situation. You cannot diminish someone's goals. And I just think that regardless of whatever he thinks about it, those were the buttons that he chose to push because he knew he was going to get a reaction out of Melody. I also think that I hate the fact that he's so easily able to push her buttons, because once he begins to push those buttons, she begins to go right down into the valley along with him. And he knows she's going to do that. So at that point, he starts bringing up the song and how she wrote the song 2 years prior to. And apparently all during since she had been there, he had been calling her Beyonce. Now, I don't know if he was calling her Beyonce as to be sarcastic, about how she may be trying to be Beyonce, or if she's Beyonce because she is now singing. I don't really know what the context of that was because I did not hear it during the episode. Let me know if you guys heard it, but I don't know. What I do know is all of these little jabs are really designed to get Melody to act out of character, and she so easily opens that door. And when she begins to act out of character, it really becomes the whole argument devolves into childish banter with the two of them going at it, repeating the same things time and time after other. The guys are having to hold Martell back. I don't know what he was going to do and why they kept having to hold him back. I think I might have missed something in that whole situation. But at that point, she decides that she wants to bring out the phone and she wants to show the girls the video, and he's just down in the song. But the problem also is, too, that the song that she was apparently singing 2 years ago was another song that she has not put out yet called Down or something like that. And so Martell mistakes Down for the song that's out now, which is Telltale Signs, that she did the video for. So she ends up, pulling out the phone, trying to show the ladies, but the ladies, specifically Letitia and Kimmy, are trying to tell her, listen, you are agitating him by playing this song. So Martell brings the kids back into this and basically says, you got my kids singing this song. You got my kids singing songs that are negative about me. And Melody's rationale is, they know that we're getting a divorce, but they don't know that these songs are about you. Now, what I will say is this, and this is probably the thing that disturbs me the most, is that while they're telling each other to shut the F up and stuff like that, at a certain point in time, whether or not the kids know what the song is about, these kids will one day be able to see mommy and daddy yelling at each other, having to be pulled apart by their friends while they curse each other out and tell each other to shut the F up. Now, that to me is the part that is the most disturbing out of any of this. So I don't care about the song. I don't care what they're singing. What I do care about is the fact that the kids will see this one day. And I want to know how they're going to explain that to them. That's all I want to know. And I know that on social media, I think it was the Urban Bell Mag had picked up something where Melody has said that this is just a show or whatever like that. And maybe that's how she'll explain it to the kids. But when I'm watching reality TV, I don't want to hear, well, this is just a show, because then I think you're doing it for the show. And I don't want to see that either. If you argue for real, but don't make it seem like don't in social media make it seem like, oh, this is just for the show. Because if it's just for the show, then you got to really ask yourself, is this something that I still want my kids to see? Am I going to tell them that it was just for the show? Am I going to tell them I did this for the check? What are we going to tell them? Okay. That's it for me. And that's on some real stuff right there. Okay. Now I could never have imagined as a kid seeing my mom or my dad tell each other to shut the F up, because I never saw it. And I know that I may be in the minority with that. And I know that some people have had that experience, and I can probably speak for those people, and maybe not, but I could probably speak for them in saying that on some level, if they did see that from their parents, it wasn't something that they liked seeing. I can't imagine as a kid you would like seeing your parents go through that. So for me, I don't want them to go through the same things. But that's just me. That's just me. And maybe I'm looking too hard into it, but as I'm watching it, that's my honest reaction to it. And I'm gonna leave it at this. I want for Melody and Martell to be able to find a way to co-parent and, both thrive. I want Martell to go get his builder's license and to really figure out what it is that he wants in life, so that he can find his peace and happiness. I want Melody to go out and sing and do whatever she wants to do and live her best life, so that they can both be healthy, and well, and not have to fight each other like this. Because it makes me uncomfortable. I'm just going to tell y'all that now. It makes me uncomfortable. There's a certain amount of drama that I do like to see, but then there's a certain level of drama when it just gets to this point. Because I feel like it's not healthy. But that's just me. That is just me. That is just my opinion. Okay. With that being said, okay. See, I mean, and this is just a great example. Quinn says, I have experienced that. I agree with you 100%. I would have wished I did not experience that. So, you know, out the oh, woo. Okay. That builder's license, baby. Focus on that and a lot less yelling. But anyway, that's just my thoughts on the situation. Thank you guys for tuning in and walking with me through this situation. Y'all know, of course, since we talked about this today, we're also going to be able to do a little chatterization about Love and Marriage Huntsville tomorrow, because the new episode, I think it's episode 10 of season 3, comes out tonight. If nobody has told y'all this today, I love you. Happy Saturday, y'all. Go out and do something. Have a little, drinky drink if you want to. You know what I'm saying? Do a little shopperization if you need to. Do something that's going to make yourself feel good today so that we can have a fresh conversation tomorrow when we go over Love and Marriage Huntsville. And y'all know what we always say on this channel. I will see you in the next video.